So hello everyone. I'm sorry I have a mask on and everything. But I'm on campus. Anyways, so my name is Naya Hakim and I'm president of Student Alliance for the 2020 to 2021 academic school year. So this is our regular town hall meeting. So welcome everyone, and I'll open it up so everyone can kind of introduce themselves and say hey.
Neil, are you introduced?
Is it my turn? Is it my turn?
Sure.
Okay, I'm Neil. I'm the operations director for Student Alliance. I'm also here on campus where I got my mask on as well. But hello, everyone. How are you doing?
And
You're doing fine. How are you?
Wonderful, lovely.
Hey, Neil, good to see you, buddy.
Good to see you as well, Rachel.
I'm Brendan Burke. I'm the communications director this year of Student Alliance. Hello, everyone.
What's up? What's up?
Hey.
And last but not least is me. I'm Rala Cobbins, and I am the external affairs director, and I'm on campus as well.
I can go if you want to. That way, you already know my name. My name is weird. It says R-A-M, Ram. I would like to be called Ram. A lot of people like to say, Ram, how are you? That's Ram or whatever. But I'm Ram. Again, I represent GRCC down here in Grand Rapids. Are we all from GRCC, or it's National Alliance, means all of us from different part of the states or across the states? I just want to clarify it.
I think for the national, you're from the Collegiate Scholars, right?
Oh, I'm from Michigan. Yeah, so.
Oh yeah, so we're all from Michigan. We're all GRCC based. Like we all have,
okay,
yeah.
Michiganders. All right, great.
Yeah, we're all Michiganders here.
Oh, awesome. All right. So, all right, and so this is my first position. I just want to know what opportunity we have, community service, what Student Alliance is doing. So I'm excited to move on forward and learning more and start helping around. Thank you.
That's great. We're so happy to have you. Thanks for coming.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much,
I'm Ethan McNeely. I'm representing Phi Theta Kappa Honor Society.
I'm Megan Haney. I'm representing the Culinary Club.
Thank you, Megan.
Thanks, Megan. Welcome back, Ethan.
Okay, if there's nobody else, I'll go. I'll take these glasses off so you guys get a visual. Hi, I'm Rachel Beecher, and today I'm representing NASO, Native American Student Organization. And yeah, it's an interesting struggle trying to be virtual. I'm such a in-person to person type gal, so help us out. Any advice, let us know.
Well, it's good to see you, Rachel. So we don't have.
Is there anyone else?
Go ahead, Kat.
Hi, I'm Kat.
Hi, Kat.
I am the president of SC Squared.
Hi, Kat. I love seeing you again.
Hi.
So we don't have a PowerPoint for today, only because we just want to get so. Oh, Brendan, if you want to take the icebreakers, do you want to do icebreakers, Brendan, first?
Yeah, I can do that. So I only really have one icebreaker question today, just because I don't want to cut into our time too much. So the icebreaker question today is, what is your go-to snack?
Go-to snack?
Yeah.
I can go for it, man. Granola bar. It is very helpful.
Granola bar.
A lot of distilled water and then granola bar driving down the road, and I'm looking for a gas station for more.
I have an unhealthy addiction with cheese sticks.
Cheese sticks?
Yeah.
Mozzarella?
Any flavor.
My
Pepper.
go-to dill pickles, cause yums.
I think like my go-to as of recently, because I think I'm just constantly shifting. So I like the Rice Krispie bars that you can get at like a gas station, specifically like chocolate chip ones, because they have just enough like they've got like a chocolate bottom, and then they have the actual chips in there, which I think is better than like the double chocolate or even like the ones that are fully dunked. They're the best out of any of them that I have tasted.
Oh, sounds great, man. That's awesome.
I don't know if to go like sweet, it would be high chew candy. But if I'm going salty, it's probably seaweed chips.
Seaweed. That's the new one.
I'm just weird.
No, you just like Asian stuff.
Yeah, but that's good though. Like, I mean, it's always new or good to try something new. And I mean, I might try some seaweed chips after hearing about that. But I think my go-to snack. I be eating everything, so I really can't decide on something. But I guess if it's something I eat like the most of, it's probably like kettle cooked barbecue chips. I like the crunchy one.
My go-to snack is probably lightly salted Lay's potato chips because they're so good. And then for sweet, I don't know. I have a really bad sweet tooth, so I like ginger snaps a lot. I know that sounds like an old lady snack, but ginger snaps are so good.
I like ginger snaps too.
Yeah, they're really good.
Yeah.
And I think I want to be a ginger farmer.
Ginger.
Oh my gosh, ginger is the best thing ever. I love ginger so much.
Yeah, ginger people candies are the best.
I know the ginger people candies are so good. They get stuck in my teeth though, like really bad. But I don't care.
You guys, we got to keep this ginger topic going. Can we garden this? Are they going to make a greenhouse over this new parking lot?
Seriously, like, can we get some type of ginger here on campus? Like, is it possible?
Yes,
like, come on.
It is
Why
possible.
not?
It's really easy to cultivate, and let's get talking garden
Right.
club so we can prep that for next summer.
Okay,
Let's
we can put
go.
a pin in
Garden
it. Let's
club.
put
Yeah.
a pin in it.
Hey,
Yeah.
there's a greenhouse. There's a greenhouse. Why wait?
Yeah.
Seriously,
Well,
right?
Could you add one more snack thing? Maybe I was expecting somebody's going to talk about the Oreos.
Oh, no.
No.
No, the lard gets stuck to the roof of your mouth. And you have to have a whole bunch of it. Double stuffed is just,
All right.
why did they even make the original? So I haven't gone yet, but I gotta tell you this, the cheapest, quickest thing I do, and my kids hate me for it, I just get the organic carrot sticks and like real organic carrots. And then I actually peel it and slice it and make the kids eat it, and I eat it too. And that's my go-to snack lately.
Yeah.
But it's not like it's my
Hummus.
favorite snack, but it
Forgot
works.
about hummus.
Hummus is good. I like hummus.
Hummus is so good.
Awesome.
When I don't have time to make my lunch for work or anything, so the morning of, I'll go in the kitchen and I'll put cherry tomatoes and cucumbers, carrots in a bag, and I'll put some dill and some olive oil and lemon in it, and I'll shake it up and then just take it to work. And
That's
then
awesome.
I just eat it with I'll eat it with a toothpick because I don't want to stick my hands in there. But yeah, I get that. The carrot sticks are delicious.
You don't like the hand gel flavor on your veggies?
Right.
Hey, you know what? Actually, Kat and other friends who are associated with the culinary arts, you guys make some of the best hummus on campus. I've tried. I think the library usually hosts something in the fall. Obviously not this fall. And they serve hummus and chili and stuff, and it's amazing. I love it and I miss it.
Awesome.
I haven't tried our hummus yet, but I love having red and green peppers with hummus. It is so
Yeah.
good. And my other go-to is apples and peanut butter.
Yeah, that's really good. I love how our conversation started off with unhealthy snacks, and it slowly but surely moved itself to peppers and carrots.
Yes,
Good
Lord.
job, guys. That's
All of
good.
us, let's have a
It's just
little
that
favorite
you
puppy food.
started it with the ginger snaps. We got to switch it to ginger.
Yeah, I just wanted to say that I did join like clubs and stuff to make friends, but I never thought it was never an opposition in my mind to make my enemies. So in this time, I think I will make enemies, and I'm gonna make opposition on the ginger bit right here.
What?
It's not terrible, dude, but there's so many other options out there other than ginger. I
But
gotta
we'll
say,
do it all. We'll just have a little section for ginger too. We have to do root vegetables for sure.
I think ginger is an acquired taste.
Man.
We do need to do some medicinal plants that are legal at GRCC. I'd really like to see the NASO work with the garden and the culinary arts and do some, let's say, indigenous plants to this area. I think it would be ideal. I really would have liked to have seen this with some of the new construction up at those homes, or maybe some gardening this summer.
Yeah, I was
Yeah,
actually,
Rachel,
this
let's
is
get
a
in
side
touch.
note, but I take an anthropology class, and my professor was talking about like how indigenous people of the, I forgot which tribe it was. The Shu, is that how I pronounce it? Shious?
SIO.
Or,
Sioux.
yeah.
The Sioux tribe. A lot of
Sioux,
people,
the
like,
Sioux, the
when you're
Sioux
first
tribe.
beginning to read, you might say like Syox.
Yeah,
Or
oh no,
Sioux.
I didn't. But yeah,
It's
but
okay.
he was
Hey, you wouldn't be
talking
the first or the
about,
last.
right. He was talking about pine nuts, importance of like pine nuts and like how indigenous peoples use that and like, you know, their food or whatever. But I would love to see like some more, I would love to learn about more like native traditions and like gardening and planting and like, because I wanted to, for a while I was like, no, I'm not going to school, I want to be a healer. I was like, is that possible? Like get peace from all over all parts
For
of the
sure.
like, you know,
Well, also, if we are here on this land, why can't we take care of it? Why can't we do what naturally would live here? So it's beyond just this tribe or this ethnic group or culture. We all have this responsibility to the earth of where we are on. You know, why not support it and plant it and give ourselves the medicine that we need?
Yeah,
I
that's
agree.
definitely
I
important.
agree. I agree with you, Rachel. I mean, you know, the place where I live here, all different kinds of people, you know, coming from all different kind of background. There is one particular high school here. You have like 77 nations represented, all new youth folks. And I mean, you know, these guys are ready for any kind of college, you know, especially GRCC also have, you know, that diversity.
I agree. We are the best
Yep.
integrated place in the city. I agree.
Amazing. Yep. So, and the idea of bringing all this different kind of continental food and, you know, recipe, I'm telling you, I can't wait to come all together and eat together with all the foods they bring. Oh my goodness, that'd be good. What do you guys think?
Yes, that is definitely something to look forward to.
You sound perfect for this group. Hey, join NASO. We're always looking for more members.
That's sure. Thank you.
But yeah, so thanks guys for answering, everybody, it was a great conversation. I loved it. Every time I have a conversation, I'm like, oh my God, I miss it. But anyways, thanks for answering the icebreaker. We really appreciate it. So now we just kind of want to ask, so not last week, on October 29th, we hosted a real talk, which was about student involvement. We had all of the clubs. We had the Sekia, we had National Collegiate Scholars, we had Phi Theta Kappa, and we had the chess club. I believe those are the only four who came, not only, but the four who came. And we're having like a conversation, trying to figure out.
Whoa.
I think
Daniel
the internet went out.
Daniel Scotter.
Wait, can you hear me? I think I was on mute. Oh my gosh, I'm sorry.
You muted for a quick second.
That's okay. I'm sorry. That was
You're
weird.
just telling
Anyways,
us about
but yeah,
what
so we
you
had
were
a real
talking
talk, and we
about.
were just trying to it was about student involvement. And the point of it was to get more outreach to students, and we anticipated more students coming, but you know, our turnout was our turnout. But I think all the clubs had a pretty good time. So clubs, we're just asking you to give us some of your feedback and like how you feel and how you think that went, and just anything you have, like a grain of salt, anything. So to tell us Student Alliance and just to share with each other. Because we have Evan here. He helped us have an amazing conversation last week, and he's like a really good facilitator and kind of gets the ball rolling. It just helps you kind of think a little bit smaller and larger at the same time. So like down the line though, but just clubs, could you, if you have anything to share to us about how the town hall on the 29th went, not the town hall, the real talk on the 29th went, then we would really appreciate that. And then we can give you all in turn some ways to, because that's what we were doing in our last week meeting. We were getting ways to like be like more student focused and student based and getting that involvement that we all need a lot. And yeah, so if you could do that, that'd be amazing. And if you can put it in the chat, or you can say it doesn't really matter to me, but if you have any feedback, that'd be very helpful. Thank you.
So when you guys answer the questions, for your experience, like for example, like whatever Inaya has this year, right? So for a student leader like me, for the community service, right? For the first time I'm coming, right? So I am coming back tonight and sharing my experience, my first meeting report, or perhaps I'm doing, to the student body, right, tonight. Then what would you like me to take away from our meeting, our group, I'm here today, I wanted to learn, right? Like my main thing is, main thing is like, okay, what is happening, right? What community service opportunities are available through Student Alliance, so I can bring that home to the student body meeting or something, so I can inspire other new students, something like, yeah.
Okay, so let me back up a little bit. My apologies. Let me back up maybe a couple steps. So we're Student Alliance. So there's 5 of us here. There's Ashley, Rala, Neo, Brendan, and I. Ashley's our co-advisor. So what we've been doing through the duration of since when? It was over like the past few months. Our team got signed. We started in May. So since then, we've been hosting these events called Real Talk. So what a Real Talk is, kind of how it sounds. It's like a real conversation, which is aimed to be between students and us. So we are also students. So we are the link between the faculty and the students. So our Real Talks, their purpose was to host conversations. So the first one, for example, was just called Real Talk with Student Alliance. And that was just a conversation about equity and inclusion and things to help students feel more welcomed at GRCC, especially during a pandemic. So we hosted that, and students came, faculty came, and it's just a conversation. We had a PowerPoint presentation, so we pulled up a screen. We created like just a couple slides that said, this is who we are, this is what we want to do, and just X number of things. And that was our conversation. Students attended and faculty attended, but we didn't get that much feedback. So we had another Real Talk, and that was about Title IX. And then we didn't get that much feedback, student involvement, student attendance, and X, Y, and Z. And then we had another Real Talk. And in that Real Talk, we got a couple students there. We didn't get much feedback, but we still had students. So our ongoing problem is not getting enough student feedback. And on one of the Real Talks that we had, the last one, which was called Real Talk, the 411 on involvement guidance, we had 4 or 5 clubs, I don't remember. But we have 4 or 5 clubs to attend, and those were our like co-hosts kind of. We all kind of were bouncing off of each other and sharing to the students that attended that meeting or were supposed to attend that meeting on ways to be more involved in school. So Student Alliance, along with all the other clubs, one of our problems has been student involvement and getting student involvement and keeping student involvement and, just student involvement, period, and student attendance. So what we're meeting today is about how to get feedback from the clubs on how they felt about the last Real Talk, which was on the 29th, and it was about student involvement, to get their feedback and to also give ways to increase student involvement in ways that, instead of not demanding, but seeking student involvement and wanting this, we were talking about Student Alliance, and we were just talking about ways to start with us first, because you can't really expect somebody else to change and then you're not doing your part. So we have created a new focal point, basically, that is about student involvement. so to answer your question of how you can be like of service and community service, and that's what we're all kind of trying to figure out right now. We've been having several events and holding things and posting things on social media, but we're trying to pick up that momentum and getting to a place where we're able to give advice on what should you do for community service, or what should you do if you want to help with this. So if you do, like, I know that was a lot of information, and if any other club has anything they want to add, then that'd be like great, because I know I missed a whole lot. But basically the point of this meeting is to get you all's feedback, the clubs like you and just everybody who's here, as to how they feel their student involvement is going, number one, and then number two, how they feel the town hall went, which is on the 29th. And then after that, then, like, along with Evan and Student Alliance, we can give you all ways that you can be more involved, that starts with yourself and isn't so dependent on students coming. So that's it.
What club do you represent, Inaya?
So I'm Student Alliance. My name is Inaya, and I'm from Student Alliance. Brendan is from Student Alliance. Neo is from Student Alliance, and Rala is from Student Alliance. If you go to participants, you can see everybody who's in here. And you can, like, so it's me, I'm Inaya Hakeem, Neo, Brendan, and Rala. So if you, I can put my email in chat. We can all put our emails in the chat if you need to, like, get a hold of us or whatever. So if you ever in the future need anything as a club, then you can just email one of us if you like.
Thank you. It's been helpful. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Anyone else have any questions or comments about that little spiel? All right. With that being said, does anyone of the student organizations that actually were there or saw the event want to talk about what they liked about it, what could have been better, like their thoughts about the thing?
I can bring it up. So I would say that, like, I think that the event went well and such. I liked being able to be on said panel, and I was able to, like, discuss things. It's kind of hard to gauge, like, how you define what impact is. Like, it's you there's no clear way to measure it. I know that we're all together trying to, like, help out and do things. So but overall, I think, like, when it comes to saying the things that I wanted to get said, I think it went pretty well in that part. I mean, I don't think I talked too much as to defining what Phi Theta Kappa was, but honestly, that wasn't really so much my goal, as I was just trying to push people to get people involved in organizations. So I think on that front, I was just able to, like, I was able to get my message out, and on that part, I'm happy.
Well, prior to pandemics, I've heard of a lot of different NASO organizations having dwindling numbers, low attendance. I joined, 2017, and I think they had two different, just in the last decade, I think they had two different attempts for starting an NASO and maintaining it. So yeah, it might just be a couple of really hard workers trying to share with the community, having cultural events and whatnot. But I was told, and I like, well, actually, I was just, think of it as maintaining where you're at, it creates space. And so space doesn't necessarily have to be negative or empty. It is still mathematically an equation. It still counts. So if no one's there, at least we have a place and a space to provide for when someone is coming. So think of it that way, if that helps.
That's a really good way to think about it. And that's one of the things that, like, we were talking about, like it's such a good, that's a good way to change how we were seeing this. We're like, oh my God, nobody's coming. But, if somebody does come, that's a really good, that's a good change of pace, I guess, and less pressure. So thank you for that.
Yeah, our meetings have become me posting on Facebook and then people thumbs up it. because ours involves GRCC students, obviously, but also we have to open up to the community. We have to keep that open dialogue, the communication. We rely on that. How many other groups are based off cultural genocide? There's a few, but not many. And so kind of used to hearing about it. But that gives us all the more reason to keep the communication strong. It's just, a new challenge. And so we have to figure it out. So yeah, any information and advice I will happily accept.
That's good. So I guess I won't be so adamant on you all giving me feedback from the town hall. Like that was like weeks ago. So we can, you don't have to do that. But we spoke with Evan last week. We were in communication with him and he helped us facilitate a conversation about how to get more student involvement in ways that we can do it instead of, like I said, relying on students to get involved. And we talked about like how we could do like emailing students, like because like building a relationship. Because I mean, we were talking about how we have a social media account and like we'll post on it. And okay, people are seeing that, but do they even know who we are? Like, and they kind of just, go by haphazardly, like, whatever. But we spoke about starting a relationship with students so they have a reason to be supportive of us. I know it's so transactional, but I mean, it's true. So we spoke about like, okay, if we got a list of random emails, not all emails, but a list of random emails or of students. And then maybe I picked a couple and I emailed them like, hey, like my name is Inaya and I am from Student Alliance and I'm, how are you doing? Like, do you need anything? Is there anything that you would?
Students check those emails though.
What'd you say?
Not many students check their emails.
No, that's just an idea. Like, I mean, even if they don't check their ideas, that's better than just, sitting here copying and pasting something. But to get more outreach. So if you have like another idea, then that'd be like amazing to have another way. But that's just something that was an example. That's the way we talked about, because like I said, we don't get much traction. And email is the closest we can get to a student without coming into their class on campus. And through that email, we've like, hey, do you want to sit on Zoom? Because we spoke about internet. Evan mentioned internet, about how however many years ago, the students were like, this internet sucks, this internet is terrible. And somebody then brought it to one of the clubs or Student Alliance, and they were like, hey, could you fix the internet? And the internet got fixed. So the email would just be a channel for students for us to get kind of connected. It wouldn't be like I don't really know how to explain it. It wouldn't be something that it's like, okay, they don't check it. And that's why it's random. And that's why I wouldn't just wait for one student to, okay, can you reply to this? It would be like several students. And if they reply, I mean, that's amazing. And we could start that relationship. And if they don't, because I know I don't like when I get like the provost, like that's not something you reply to, but I understand that GRCC students don't reply to emails. But as I said, it was like an example, and just a means to get that relationship started, to begin it and to initiate it. As far as, getting closer to students, then that is where I'm blank at. I don't know, like another way, especially during like, the pandemic and virtual learning and all that. So if you had any other suggestion, then I would be more than open to it.
Yeah, I have a question, right? I have a question. So I know that I've worked in the past with the Student Government Association, right? SCA, and they have like a student welfare or something. But now this Student Alliance code is something new to me, so what is Student Alliance and how does it work? Could you answer that question for a beginner like me,
Yeah. So I'll say a little bit, and I'm sure, like, because there's 4 of us, so they can, Rala and Brendan and Leo could share their little piece.
If you want me to answer the question, I got you.
Okay.
Yeah. So, because you have been talking for a long time, but yeah. So basically, Student Alliance is just another SGA, right? But because we're a community college, and not saying that other community colleges don't have this, but like we don't have like a Senate or other things. We just have like our e-board, which is our basic, president, vice president, operations director is basically the treasurer, like the vice president is the external affairs director, and then our communications director, right? And so just like those basic, 4 positions in as an e-board. And so basically as Student Alliance, like how Anaya said earlier, we're the bridge between administration and students. And so whatever the students need, we bring it up to the administration, and we're just like that middle entity that basically, is solely like responsible for the students, right? And so the things that we do in our job descriptions is, as a president, like she goes to like the SLT meetings, which is like these meetings that are held for like, progression of students and, working on like things for that administration holds, we have these meetings every other Thursday, our town hall meetings, talk with you all. Usually I would present a budget, but because we don't have, student groups really trying to like request money or like use a budget, I'm not really like presenting the budget to you this semester just because we're not really like using this much. And then we also have our own leadership board meetings so that we can like, regather and discuss and go over other things. And, and so right now what we've been doing is we've been, just basically finding new ways to, interact with students, keep everything going through the pandemic. And I think that we're all doing a pretty good job. But I think like one of the things that we've been doing is like the real talk, which is like, our meetings so that we can, have just something like entertaining for the students and also something helpful for them, and just like having a town halls. So pretty much, I mean, to say the least, like, yeah, we are a student government. We're just called Student Alliance just because like that was the name that came up with. I don't know how they came up with that name, but yeah, that's what we do. Does that answer your question? Like, do you have any?
Yeah, you sure did. And, it's just assembly of students together who has a relationship with other clubs and kind of a stage where everybody would know what's going on around kind of thing.
Right.
And once we get some kind of lead, and then we bring the masses and connect with the campus administration, college administration. That will help budget or to meet the student needs, something like that. Did I understand correct, Neil?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, to put it in lesser terms. Yeah,
that's helpful. That's helpful. Thank you.
All right, cool. Glad I can answer the question.
Yeah, sure, Neil. Thank you. I'm ready to listen. Anyone have any answer? It's a lot of help for me,
There's no election. We don't have to vote on it. Yay.
Oh,
yeah.
So the community college that I went to years and years ago in Wisconsin, there were elections, and we did have a student government, and I think I was on it for at least one of the years, more than once. I think 2 semesters, and we still had separate committees, but yeah, this is different, and I like this more so because it brings all the groups together so we can work on things in unison and bring things to fruition.
Yeah. Thank you for that. Who's that? Evan, what is Evan saying? Oh, we were Student Congress. So Student Congress transitioned to Student Alliance to get away from the bureaucratic nature of a traditional Student Congress. So we wanted to be different. We're changing it up. I like that. Okay, Evan.
Yeah, yep. Just to give you a little bit of background, and I'm not going to add much here because Anaya and Neo did a great job, but it used to be called Student Congress. If you go back to, I think it was 2012, 2013. And at that time, the student leaders were getting so wrapped up into process and a lot of the student organization were more than focusing on the issues at hand was what are the real issues facing the student body. And so there was a time for reflection, and we got through it with the voices of the Student Congress at the time. We reshaped what Student Alliance is now, and the Student Alliance is here to focus solely on what are the issues facing the student body. And yes, they do still serve as a a resource to the student clubs, but their main issue that they're going to be taking up are anything that's concerning to the larger student body, and they're going to be working with the administration here at the college to address those concerns and questions.
Yeah.
Hopefully that sums up your question, Ram.
Yeah, it sure does. And let's say, okay, we have, let's say we notice some problems. with a student. For example, let's say some students are saying, I work in the library or something, and said, hey, you know what, midterm is coming, exam is coming. You guys are open from, from 8 to 6 or something, but could you add 2 more hours or something, or could you go on Friday or extra hours in library or something, So if that's a need, a couple of students have that said, for example, right? To make this genuine need of a student who wanted to spend time in the library without distractions, so they can prepare for midterm or final, right? Just an example. So let's say a student have that need and they wanted to materialize, hands-on, tangible, and the need to be met by expanding library hours or something like that. So to make that happen, how Student Alliance can help to make that happen? Let's say, like, okay, we got the message, we pass it somewhere, and then when things happen, and then, hey, we achieve something, like, talking and then taking action and with a feedback. Does that happen, or
Yeah, I
yeah,
think we have
something
to.
practical? We talk and we get it. Now, student government, like, okay, here is the agenda, we discuss, and then things happen, and boom, next
Yeah.
time as the report comes, like some kind of
So
result. Yes.
yeah. So I briefly, it was quick. I know I have to remind myself to stop, not talk so fast. But I briefly mentioned the Wi-Fi example. So if someone comes to us about something, and we then would go find a resource to and get information and do research for them, and so find a way to get what their request was done. So if you were complaining about what department, if you were complaining about the food, then we would go connect with somebody who dealt with the food to see this student had this problem, or X number of students had this problem however many times, and we need this to be changed. How can we change this? So it's not necessarily that we do all of, like, we're like, okay, let's figure out, we start from scratch and trying to figure out how to fix things and change things, but we find ways to do it, to make it not so, to not make the students' responsibility and it's so quick. So they're not supposed to do a lot. They're supposed to tell us, and we're supposed to go find someone else, and like a team or anybody, to get what they need done. So last year we did bathrooms. We needed more like transgender bathrooms. So we connected with people, and we got more bathrooms. So it's kind of like, it's not, there's not one person we go to. We usually go through our advisors first, so we can, because they know like literally everybody on campus, and they'll connect us. But we kind of just have to find a resource to get whatever the like complaint or the inquisition, whatever, to get it fixed or resolved, basically, is what I'm saying.
Well,
That's what I
thank you.
love about having organizations, because you feel more comfortable around your peers. So you could have those conversations, be like, hey, this kind of is bothering me, or I want to see change here. And then we bounce it off the advisors, and then from there they can go through the appropriate channels, follow the proper protocol. Now, also I want to add, at this community college, in my experience so far, people are pretty friendly, and I feel comfortable enough to go to the faculty members or directors and actually ask, the people behind the desk. Both of your examples, like at the library, I know they keep statistics on who's using it and when, so that they have backup as to why they need to close or open earlier or later. And then there's usually someone else around that would agree or disagree, and then they just go follow the numbers and follow the need of the students. That's the main reason. And with the pandemic, my gosh, it's something else.
That's right. Yeah. Thank you. Helpful.
Well, Student Alliance invited Evan Macklin on, and I wonder if he'd like to take a moment to introduce himself and kind of share with the rest of the group about what we talked about last week and how we'd like to move forward with other organizations, especially as we look to Real Talk number 4.
I do not want to take over too much time of this meeting, but I will, Ashley, to your point, I'll introduce myself real quick. Evan Macklin, I am currently the Grand Rapids Promise Zone Scholarship Director, but student life, I spent a lot of years in the student life office and working with student groups to support them with their event planning. And I was actually there for the time when we transitioned from Student Congress to Student Alliance, so I have some historical context of why that happened and what led to that process. But really, like I mentioned earlier, Anaya and Neo did a fabulous job of kind of highlighting our conversation from last week. And what I challenged the group to think about, because I don't think the group was at a point where they felt like they had the power or they felt like they were empowered to bring some issues forward to leadership and administration. So I just challenged the group to think about how they're connecting with the student body, what data are they collecting to bring those reports forward so that they can come to the administration with details, right? How many students is this impacting? What's the scope of what you're trying to accomplish? And we had such a really, very eye-opening conversation for me and Anaya, Neo, and Rala and Brendan. It was really very intimate conversation, and I think they were planning on sharing some of those updates with you either today or at a future meeting. But that's what I would challenge, as it relates to Student Alliance and what their purpose is. When Anaya talked about reaching out to students via student email, that is one way to connect with students right now and for their purpose of what they're supposed to be accomplishing. They're supposed to be advocating for the student body, and without any type of outreach or connection to the students, they're not quite sure what the issues are that our students are going through. So that's just one method, emailing, but then they all talked about, oh, well, we can use our office hours because they're each required to have office hours every week as a Student Alliance appointed position. They're going to use their office hours to reach out to students virtually and by phone to really start to build that relationship and that rapport with the students. And then hopefully through data collection and feedback and conversations through the students, they're going to try to identify, maybe 3 tangible goals of what they hope to accomplish this year. And Anaya brought up an example that I shared with them from when I was a Student Alliance advisor. At the time, students were complaining about Wi-Fi. So we brought, instead of the Student Alliance president at that time going and talking in the IT director's office, the Student Alliance team invited the IT director into their environment, into their space where they felt like they had the power to make some change. And so the IT director came to that meeting. He brought some of his directors along with him. And within a week or two, surprise, the Wi-Fi is working significantly better across campus because they heard the student body. They heard it quite clear. Another example is if you have been on campus recently, you probably have seen the microwaves placed kind of strategically all around campus. At that time, we didn't have microwaves really other than one spot. We didn't have microwaves widely available across campus for students that brought in sack lunches and wanted to warm up their food. Again, another issue that it seems small in nature, but when you think about, somebody that has to now pay for meals every day on campus that wants a warm meal, that's going to save a student a lot of money. So there's little tangible things, like you said, Ram. What are the tangible things that are going to be lead to the action, right? And so the feedback that Anaya and Rala and Brendan and Neil will be collecting from the students through email, through their office hours, through intentional outreach via phone and Zoom. That's what they're going to be working on over the next few weeks, next month or so, and hopefully be able to present some tangible goals that they hope to accomplish between the winter semester. That's specific to their group, though. You all have different purposes. You all have different missions. And so I would just challenge you to think about what is your mission and how do you get students excited about what your group is doing, and think about why you personally joined a student organization. I know from their perspective, they all joined to meet other new students and to advocate for students. So that makes perfect sense for them, but why did you join? What is the mission of your group? And how do you get others excited and passionate about what the work you're doing within your organization?
Thanks, Evan.
Sounds great.
Thank you for all your work. Thanks for
Absolutely.
making GRCC that much better.
Thank you.
That's
Thank you.
great. Yeah, I'm very encouraged to learn about materialized things like Wi-Fi. How essential is that, right? And also, man, you take care of your hunger stomach. A microwave, that sounds great, really. Cyclones thing, those are materialized things. And I hope to bring needs. One thing I was thinking as a student is like maybe we can connect with the faculty, like when we're taking classes, maybe talk to the professor or something. And then through the help of professor or class, our main access is the class, right? And then Zoom happens and we can talk to them sideways or maybe get permission from the professors like, hey, this is what's going on. These are the opportunities. Would you like to get involved? And then one student at a time, I think the best connection for me is like I take 4 classes and going through the students, classmates is one way I can connect. Or maybe as a library student worker, I encounter students like at least 10, 12 of them a day or something every time I'm scheduled. I'm not sitting there talking about all day, maybe interrupting them, but very briefly, a minute or two, usual face I encounter. Those are the things I can think of, just to bring the message from here to the student. And maybe a student will have some kind of needs. Then how can I bring that needs? Where do I go? That is my challenge, Like,
Definitely.
do I just
Contact Lina.
okay? Contact who?
Ashley, you want to take this one?
Sorry. Let's say I hear from some student, right? A genuine need, like, hey, I have this problem or that problem, or from at least us several students. Then in that case, where do I report that? Like, I have an organization, that's where I am, right? But let's say that strictly within the organization I am, if that cannot be solved by that, how do I find out that appropriate, genuine needs can go through another place or besides admin? I don't want it to go just by my voice. I wanted to come alongside other club members or student body or something.
I have a quick note
Other
to add there.
organization to come alongside that way, instead of one-man army or just one group, one club. There is a couple of other also know that, hey, this is genuine need, we can help. Let's work together kind of thing. Where do I go from there? That's what I was wondering. So maybe
that's a great point. That's why Student Alliance is here. I wouldn't say that's a good, I wouldn't address the concern you're hearing within a public meeting such as this, but let's say you're starting to talk with students and you're hearing examples. These 4 appointed officials that you have, student officials that you have on the line, that's what they're here for. That's why they've been appointed to their position that they're in, is so that they can advocate on behalf. So when you bring an issue forward to them, it's their job now to take action on that issue, do some research, figure out if this is an issue impacting a larger student body, or even if it's just a small segment of the student body. If it's an issue that's prevalent for more than just one student, and maybe there's not a way to address that one issue for that one student, if there's something that has to be done for a larger audience, that's what they're supposed to be doing, is really creating action, doing their research and addressing those issues. And I would encourage you to bring those issues and concerns forward to these 4 so that they can start to, Lina is a great resource, but Lina, we at the college as directors and associate directors and deans, we have processes that we have to work concerns through. And so sometimes we get caught with some of that bureaucratic, setup that is usually inherent within a big business or organization. Whereas the Student Alliance, I think they have the ability to turn around things quickly. So I encourage you to bring those issues forward to them. Does that make sense?
So, yeah, it does. And who are these 4 and what is your role within the Student Alliance? You said these 4, right? We have these 4 here. I just wanted to know, who are these 4 and what are their roles, right? Because I'm new, I just wanted to see the face in front of my screen and go from there. Maybe that would be awesome. Would you just raise your hand, this is my name, this is what I do, kind of thing. I just wanted to know, this is my first day, maybe next meeting I'll be more familiar, hey,
So I think Anaya, do you want to do another real quick introduction of you four, maybe, and then
That'd be
I don't
great.
know. I don't know if you guys had other. Sorry if you can hear my phone ringing in the background, but if you guys can do another introduction here, and then maybe I don't know. I'm guessing you guys had some other stuff on the agenda that you wanted to. Do you have any budget items you wanted to get to?
If you want to, you can just write down, whoever four is, just like your role and what you do, your role, whatever.
Yeah,
what you do.
For sure.
That would be good. That way you can keep going,
For
we'll
sure.
put it in the chat.
Exactly. That's good.
And then as far as the agenda goes, the only thing we had on it was talking to the clubs about like student outreach first, and about like ways that because Evan, after you kind of organized everything that we had been saying in the meeting, getting their feedback off of how they felt about the real talk on the 29th, and then us talking like a dialogue between us and the clubs about how like we can get more student feedback. And as you said, like a specific example for our club would be, and our like student organization would be the emails, but opening up for if clubs needed help or like needed like ideas, just to kind of like bounce ideas off of each other if that's necessary, because like I said, student involvement has been the issue, and just creating some traction kind of.
I kind of have an idea about connecting with students more, and it kind of reaches out with faculty as well. Sorry, my cat knocked over my water. In the culinary club, we've reached out a lot with our professors and asked them to say something to students. And we're working on getting like posters and stuff to our professors. I wonder if that would be a good thing to do with some of the other professors around campus, as for the different clubs, just depending on what it's about, and just showing everyone that there's clubs out there still, well, even with everything going on.
Do you guys watch those emails we get every week from Dr. Knettel? The videos? Perhaps he could be a shout out for us. He does those 3, 2, 1 things. Why can't we be one of those?
He did one with our recent Real Talk. It was I think that was like the first one in a month or something. He said something the week of our Real Talk.
Okay, maybe he could highlight a couple of organizations each time, or rather just have us, Student Alliance and organizations be on there.
Okay.
At some point.
That's a good point.
Yeah, like, are you thinking like a takeover?
Students, their main purpose at GRCC is the classroom. Like that's where they're at. That's where they're at the most. That's their only like business here basically. So Megan also said like getting to the professors, because they do have the most student traffic. And that's the students' only real purpose at GRCC is to like go to class. So trying to find a way to get in there, I don't know in what way. Like, can we ask the professors to like promote things? Just figuring out all the logistics would be like another great way also, along with the Sunday emails, and and being consistent with it too. Because we reached out and got our Real Talk promoted in the Sunday email, but it wasn't consistent. It was the first time, and people were probably like, okay, well, but that consistency would definitely be a good
Unless you guys want to make a video, like a commercial. Drop the brush, right?
I wonder, like, yeah, a video would be sweet. We haven't really done any of that. Or like, what are those like old school diner mats where there are like businesses in like different bubbles? Like, I wonder, like, Megan, what you're saying, like a handout with like all the orgs and maybe a little blurb, like no one's buying their spot, but just, something like that.
That sounds cute, and it's something that you could hand out at like the Quiet Cafe and the stuff that's still open. And I know what I'm pretty sure Art and Bev's is still open in the ATC. I know it's different hours, but
I would shy away from
Yeah.
handouts at the moment. In the future, for sure, all the time, anytime. But I'm thinking right now, nothing tactile. It's my personal thought and medical thought.
Say that one more time.
Sorry, I didn't hear. Did you say something, Neo?
Yes, say that one more time.
I just said I personally I shy away from using anything tactile right now. Any handouts? Normally, I'd say yes, go for it. I like the visual. I like something tactile. But right now, pandemic, things closing, I highly recommend let's do something virtual like the commercial, or get faculty members or Dr. Knettle to do more shout outs for us, and then we can add on to that.
I think if we still wanted to do something with like the handout idea, we could do a virtual one and have it like as a PDF in an email that we could send out.
Exactly. Yeah.
Or could we do a poster and just hang them up around campus? Then that way no one touches it too. We can like put one on each floor building.
My gosh, I don't know how much long campus is going to be operating full, not that it's operating fully now, just looking at the numbers and everything. But normally, yeah, posters. I was almost tempted to go and do like sidewalk chalk this last September and October just to get more members, but I figured there's not enough people walking around looking at it, going to Raider Connect. I don't know.
Yeah, so I just wanted to understand what we're talking about. So we are talking about like, okay, we want to feature one particular organization through Student Alliance.
So this is Student Alliance aside. This is just us talking about ways to kind of get more students into our clubs and organizations, like ways to get more participation. So it's all of us. We all got the same struggle as, getting more students coming in. So the sidewalk talk and like the Sunday emails and the videos and the handouts are all ways to, get students to get the word out, basically.
Okay, got it. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. And then another thing, like I really like the commercial idea because, when people have to read something, they kind of be like, okay, well, that's doing a lot, or it just when you read something that takes like attention spans, like the era we live in right now. Like if we had like a really cool like high, like not I don't want to say like those commercials that would be talking super like those, like something that's really gonna get their attention for however long. 30 seconds, whatever, however long we choose to make it, but something that's funny and like, like just giving somebody a little bit of joy or humor during these very, winter is coming up, and winter,
let's give out shout outs. Maybe us as just student, as part of CAB here, we could just do a commercial thanking our favorite faculty, staff, and students for all their work. Why can't we do a shout out, like a little commercial ceremony of appreciation?
Right.
We can plan
that. And like, and then it doesn't even really have to be it's because I feel like Student Alliance personally, like we bite off a lot, and then it's kind of like, okay, well, how do we even like what's the first step to doing this? But I feel like if we just start talking more, like all clubs, if we just start talking more and like making ourselves visual, not in between the lines and read so much, but like a visual presence, like, oh, I've seen this video 3 times in the past week, maybe I should finally watch it, you know what I'm saying? Like things like that, to kind of just be more relevant. So I really do like the commercial, like the video idea, because that's that's the most relatable. Like you're on Twitter, you're on Instagram, whatever, you're gonna watch a video versus read somebody's 2-paragraph long, whatever. Well, not personally, but kind of like a generalization, but just an easier way to get students more involved and more aware of like who we are and things like that. So that's a really good idea. We could definitely like make that happen.
Yeah, I like the video idea too, though.
Hey, I saw a little connection here, like, every club has an advisor, and that advisor can be a professor. Let's say this professor is spending a lot of time here in college teaching, taking care of, and doing a service to the student, right? And somehow if that faculty member as an advisor of that club, if that person is somehow, appreciated, then through the advisor, then we have an access to the student also, right? So from student to advisor, advisor to the student alliance, it can go connection to promote, right, them also. Did I understand it? I don't know. I'm a very new person. I hope I understand what we're talking about. So we're
Yeah,
trying
it
to
seems like you
promote the,
got it.
we're
Yeah.
trying to promote the faculty member. At the same time, that also helps the clubs be promoted among the students, so we can have a connection through the club, and the student alliance also have a major role to play, like an umbrella for all the clubs. Student clubs. Did I don't mean to interrupt, but
No. So I think so. Faculty have no real role in student clubs unless they're like an advisor or like Lina, for example. Lina's our advisor and Ash's advisor. So that's their role in our like student organization. But faculty is uh that's kind of that doesn't have anything to do with the clubs. So when I said student alliance, we just reach out to faculty. Like if if faculty have a role in a position or whatever, or relevancy in clubs, it's because like we're reaching out to them. Like, hey, like it's they don't have an active role in it. So to reach out to a faculty member would be like, hey, would you help with this, or just for like promotional um um yeah, for like promotion or like like whatever else, like would you mind attending this. So faculty are kind of aside from student clubs, but we do have advisors, and those advisors tend to be like a faculty member. They don't have to be, I don't think. Well, I don't know, but
yeah,
like
that's what I was thinking, right? For us to be better connected, like if I want to talk to an advisor, I mean, they should have some invested interest, and then we have interest too. Unless we have that interest, we don't have a good relationship, you see. That's what I'm trying to say. How can we have a better relations with a professor or faculty member? Unless they become our advisor, they also have an interest, like more and more student would know that they are available to teach this course or something. Then we have a better relationship. All students want to learn with this professor or this class. Then through that advisor, we have a club connection, and through club, we have a student alliance. I was trying to find a link. How can we, like, for example, we're looking for an advisor right now, in our club. We don't have an advisor or something. How can I get better connected with a professor to be my advisor, our advisor,
yeah,
kind of thing?
I think what you could do is honestly, I would like, I always feel like, yeah, talk to Lina, because Lina has a lot of information. She knows a lot about, clubs and organizations and advisors and all of that. For that type of advice, I wouldn't be able to help you much with that because my knowledge is very limited. But Lina can recommend and help and guide you to, because if you guys don't have an advisor, like that's something you're missing, and she can definitely point you in a good direction at least,
I
and
really appreciate it. Thank you.
she is our advisor, and yeah, and her email, I'll put her email in the chat so you have it.
Thank you. Thank you so much
Anybody else have anything?
for answering my questions. Thank you.
I did want to bring up just on like promotions and such that so like recently my advisor Lene, she sent out, I don't remember the exact number, but I guess she managed to get a list of all people that are qualified to join Phi Theta Kappa, and I think there was around like 2,700 people. So apparently we got to send a big group email to like that many people, which has gotten me really excited. Although personally, I'd really like it if we could get the amount of people that actually joined to be 2,701, but I don't think that's possible. But
So I guess to add to what Ethan just said, there are things that we at the college collect among students. So when they apply to the college, we collect different we collect different things about the student. When they meet with advisors, there's all sorts of things that we have on student populations to try to help your groups connect with the right target audience. And I think if, because there's been some conversation around creating promotional videos, if I were you all, I mean, YouTube videos obviously seem to go a long ways, where you can post that video not only on YouTube, but on your social media accounts. I know a lot of you have Facebook accounts and Twitter accounts. But I would encourage you to all to use the media department to create videos of students that are either of your stories, or students that you do have in your active groups, to highlight why they joined, what are some cool things that are going on in your group. Not a very long video, 3-minute videos, like that you can keep really condensed and not lose a student's attention. And I think that will drum up a little bit of business for each of your groups if you can really highlight some cool work that you're doing. PTK, I mean, I know they're doing all sorts of creative. They just hosted a virtual conference, I believe, at the beginning of the year, or it was at the tail end of last year. But I know that's a very active group. NASO is a very active group. Christian Fellowship. So all of you have very active groups, but you got to get that story out, and you have to, I think there's a large student body here at the college that is looking for that personal human interaction, because we're in an online and virtual environment. So believe it or not, there's a lot of students that are out there that are looking for the same friendships and the connections to the campus that you all sought out when you joined your group. But you got to get the word out, and you got to figure out a way to connect with them. And email is going to be part of the solution, but you are all more familiar with me than I am ever and will ever be with TikTok and all the other social media accounts that are out there. But use those as a platform to try to connect. But I do think from a Student Alliance perspective, I told them, start making phone calls, start texting, because there will be some, whether it's 10 people that call you back or 20 or 50, there will be some that respond. And then that's how things start to have a domino effect. And then they, friends get involved. And that's what happened with Anaya and Neo. Neo reached out to Anaya, and that's why Anaya is on the Student Alliance now. So it does take some time to get that word out about what you're doing. So be creative. Don't limit yourself to just email.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ivan. Very, very helpful information.
Anyone else have anything?
So from here, in the next 2 weeks, does Student Alliance have to vote on this, or can we just, as presidents of organization, will you guys email everyone and then ask them to send in, 1 to 2 minutes of a short video of what your organization is? Sounds kind of like that commercial that we did for the beginning of the year, though, for Involvement Day. But maybe we just talk about personally what it means to us being a student at GRCC and how we're handling the pandemic in a comical way, perhaps, but seriously, we introduce the organization. Or do you like the idea of shout outs, giving appreciation to the people who have got us to where we are now to be more vocal and involved?
I think a good way to start would be for all the clubs to say a special thanks for each club to give a special thanks to somebody who's on campus, or whomever who's helped, or just say thank you first.
That's a good idea.
That's kind of a good way to start. So we have a direct audience then, and then if we want to introduce ourselves, and they could be together, we introduce ourselves and say, hey, I know this is a really tough time, but I just want to say thank you to Lina or Evan, or whomever else that has helped us get however far we've come. So I think that would be a good idea.
Yeah, we should introduce ourselves and then the organization, and then shout out to a couple of people who are still there physically and or virtually helping GRCC students. I think it's great. And then we'll contact.
So as far as creating the video, so Student Alliance and our advisors will talk again about where is this going and who's creating, and what we need more specifically from the clubs to provide something that's concise, and how long it's going to be. We'll figure out the logistics, and we'll send out an email to all the clubs participating, even the clubs that came to our Real Talk a couple weeks ago, to get as much content as we can, but as much concise content. So there'll be a follow-up email, but first, we kind of have to talk to our advisors to figure things out. And then Brendan, of course, he's a great video editor, so he can edit it and put it all together.
I like the idea with like a sort of video just to pop in and say, hey, like this is what life is like, or this is how I'm navigating, this is what I'm doing for self-care, whatever, and I think that speaks to Real Talk number 4. Did you want to introduce Real Talk number 4 to everybody? I know Megan asked about it in the comments a while back, but just to maybe generate that talk and how we can move forward with that.
So that's what we were talking about today. And we were talking about our platform and how we go about our Real Talk. And we were kind of like wanting, okay, so to back up, our Real Talk is basically a conversation we host to talk about a topic with students. We usually have somebody who is there to support our topic and that has more expertise on it. So for Title IX, we had Lina and Kimberly DeVries there because they are Title IX experts. They, that's their niche right there. Also, like for the equity, we had Dr. Matheny there, and she helped us because, we just get people who know that field that can support us and support the topic. So for the next Real Talk coming up, we're in kind of a bit of a gray area because we just met Student Alliance and we met before this town hall. We're in a gray area because we are talking about how we go about it and about how it's a Zoom meeting and about how we have a PowerPoint visual and about how it kind of has a very classroom-like environment. So that's one of the issues that we were seeing, like, okay, maybe this has to do with why we aren't getting a lot of student involvement and a lot of traction. So we talked about different mediums to go about like hosting these Real Talks, and like maybe them being live isn't the best thing to do because people aren't able to attend it. So we talked about like a podcast was something that really sparked a lot of interest and excitement among us, because that's more like, oh, I'm in my car, let me turn this on to see what they're talking about, or something like that, or I'm walking and I have my headphones in, or but anyways, that was something that we had mentioned. But before, I don't want to introduce it yet because there's so much gray in it. Like, what is it really going to be about? I know we want it to be more personal and more like, not so much like, okay, more, not so textual and not so like, I don't know, just, kind of, we want to make it more like, okay, students, like, you feel open and free to express yourself in whatever way. And that's why I like the idea, Ashley, you said about the commercial, and being like, oh, what do you do on Sundays, or what's your self-care routine, or what do you do like to when you're stressed out, or just things like that to make us a little more relatable, a little more human. I think that's a great idea. But as far as the Real Talk, we know the date. It will be on December 3rd. But anything else aside from that, we still have to talk and connect and reconnect and kind of figure things out a little bit more. Only because we just had a Real Talk that was on student involvement, and to have another one on December 3rd about student involvement will be a little repetitive. And also we were talking about how being adamant on students being involved is kind of like, okay, well, what are we doing? Students aside, what can we do more? So if anything, we would have the student involvement Real Talk, and we would be the only ones attending because, we have a lot more to learn, a lot more to understand. So the 4th one is impending. It's in process. We're still trying to figure that one out, and get logistics ironed out and, basically everything else ironed out. But once we figured that out, there is another town hall. Is there another town hall before Thanksgiving break? Or no? Okay, well, we have you all's email. So once we get that figured out, we'll definitely be reaching out to y'all. But today we do not have it figured out.
Our next town hall is December 3rd, actually.
Okay, well, there you go.
Because
so
we have our. Go ahead.
Yeah, so based off of what we figure out, and if we need support from clubs and support from anyone else, then we'll definitely reach out. But first, we have a couple other steps to take first before we solidify anything else. And I don't think we have anything else for this town hall, unless anybody had anything to add.
I don't want to hold everyone too long because I know we're going a bit late, but I know normally we do some updates, and there are like 2 things I wanted to update in. I'll try and keep them as brief as possible. So the first one I'm just excited about. I did vote, but I'm not talking about the 2020 election, although I did vote in that as well, but that's not what I am referring to. I voted to update our regional constitution for, well, not constitution, bylaws for Phi Theta Kappa. So that's really cool that we're doing that, but I want to keep that short, so I won't go into that. What I really am excited about is that last time I had brought up the idea of Phi Theta Kappa doing an Among Us game night, and as of right before this went on, I was working on setting up the event on Raider Connect, and in the period of our meeting, it has been approved on Raider Connect, so it should be there. You'll see the dates and times, but we are going to have an Among Us game night on December 4th, so that'll be the day after your real talk, and so yeah, it'll be 6:30 to 9, and I'm hoping it'll be really exciting for everyone, so come to that. Again, you don't have to be a Phi Theta Kappa member to come to any of our meetings, and you certainly don't have to come and play Among Us with us. We're just here to have a good time. Exams are going to be coming up around that time, so let's take some time to just blow off some steam.
I saw your event, actually. I just went on Raider Connect and I saw your event, so. Anyone else have anything?
Well, one thing, kind of a big thing. As you know, City of Grand Rapids did back in October 12th have Indigenous Peoples Day. And at one point, a couple years ago, I recall GRCC having a statement saying that we would have to have a Columbus Day alongside an Indigenous Peoples Day. I'm just wondering where we're standing with that. And if you want to table this discussion for next time, let me know and I'll try and make it.
I personally don't know anything about this. Does anyone
Yeah.
else?
Liner, Evan, or Ashley, do you all know anything about the Indigenous Peoples Day and the Columbus Day together, or not together, but in order to have one must have the other?
I don't, but I would, to Rachel's point, I guess I would table for now, but, make sure it gets brought back up at a future meeting that Rachel can be at, or report back to Rachel what you find out from Lina. But I don't know anything about the conversation. I just joined the group recently to kind of help spark a little bit of fire, and so I've been a little disconnected from Student Alliance.
Here's a fire topic.
What's that?
A fiery topic. I'll help you with spark fire.
I agree. I'm saying just to get them motivated, and quit them with the power.
Yeah.
What am I trying to say here? To let them know that they have lots of power within their roles.
I just asked you all because
we need to look through it again. Everything that we've been going through, particularly since May, we really need to look at our policies just within the school and make sure everything in our words are very clear as to what we allow and what we don't allow and how we celebrate. I think we need to be a little more sensitive of that, of all ethnic cultures involved in our campus.
Yes, that's very important. And that's something that we can talk about. We do have a leadership meeting next week Thursday, so that's something we can talk about. And I only asked, I'm sorry, Evan, I kind of gave you this huge position, but I only asked because you are more familiar with policy and things like that. But I will definitely figure out, honestly, go to Lina, see what she knows about that. And then if hers is limited, then we'll find somebody who knows a little bit more in that regard, and we'll figure that out for you. And then we'll email. I don't know if your email is on Raider.
From then, I think we had a vote because when Drew and Tally was in charge of this one a couple years ago, and I recall
okay.
never was involved with CAB at the time because I wasn't an officer at the time.
Okay.
But that was
Well,
one
if
of
you could,
the grant and doing
yeah.
education on our campus, because I was appalled essentially that we even had to take a vote on that.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Yeah,
So,
that's real. That's real. So we can, let me figure out more about that. First I need to talk to Lina, but can you put your email in the chat so we can have a direct.
Yeah. I appreciate you guys. You guys are awesome. Thanks for this. I'm sorry I won't make the meeting any longer.
No, you're fine. You're valid. But we got like 6 minutes left. But as far as our agenda goes, we don't have anything left on it. Rachel will get on that. And we'll get on the video also. We'll see what we can do about that. And then we'll be in contact with you soon.
it's creepy that Lana's picture just popped up in that tweet. Just say. But I think this can
And yep,
conclude.
if that's all, then we will be seeing you all in about 3 weeks or
December 3rd is the next town hall meeting.
so we can touch. Yep. So 3 weeks.
Yep, because the
Thank you all for attending.
Have a great Thanksgiving.
See you soon.
Those who are celebrating.
Thanks.
See you.
Adios.
Adios.